Viewers, drop your city and your local time in the comments. Let's see who's still awake for this one. It starts on one of those Saturdays you wish you could freeze in a jar. Sun slicing through a blue sky so clean it almost squeaks, the scent of fresh wax on a '69 Mustang curling out of the garage. Jack's polishing chrome like it's his job, sleeves rolled red work shirt fitting just tight enough to say he's earned his piece. Inside, Tara's humming, probably baking something that would make the whole house smell like childhood Christmas. 2 acres of stubborn old farmland, a single-story ranch, holding the kind of quiet that historians still argue whether is real tranquility or just the calm before trouble. Trouble announces itself as a diesel growl and the hiss of air brakes. A tow truck, yellow lights pulsing, backs into the drive. The driver, neck like a tree stump and t-shirt stained with mystery, doesn't even look up as he starts fiddling with the lift. Jack's calm voice, calm is always worse, asks if he can help. The answer comes with a thumb jab at the Mustang HA violation. No vehicle over 10 years old in public view. Eyesore. Jack knows exactly who's behind it. Karen Grant, HOA president, self-appointed empress of cookie-cutter suburbia, and recent graduate from the Because I Said So School of Governance. She's the kind who'd measure your lawn with a ruler and fine you for a dandelion. The driver's just a pawn. Getting mad at him is like yelling at the wrench for the bolt it turned. But when he reaches for the chains, Jack steps between man and car, feet planted, arms crossed, a 6'3" wall of stillness. Not loud, not threatening, just that dangerous kind of quiet that makes people wonder if they've seriously miscalculated. Karen's voice crackles through his radio, icy as a frozen pond, promising the sheriff in 15 minutes. Jack doesn't blink. He calls an old friend, the county commissioner. 2 minutes later, the driver's boss is screaming through the radio to abort now. Truck leaves in reverse gravel, skittering, dignity dragging. Tara steps out with cookies, concern knitting her brow, and Jack knows the fight's just begun. You don't humiliate someone like Karen Grant and expect her to retreat. Not when she's building her little empire of bylaws and fear. It's the first strike in a war he didn't see coming, and already the soldier in him is counting the battles ahead. Karen doesn't come back with another tow truck. She comes back with paper. Letters on crisp HOA stationery stacked like poker chips on Jack's kitchen table. $25 for grass, 4 inches too high. $15 for wind chime noise. $25 for a welcome mat. Not in keeping with neighborhood aesthetics. Death by 1,000 tiny invoices. It's petty, but effective, designed to keep him and Tara looking over their shoulders, wondering what infraction she'll invent next. And the eyes, always the eyes. Tara feels them while she's kneeling in her rose garden. Jack sees them when he's washing the Mustang. Karen's pale, calculating stare from behind glass, expressionless like a sniper deciding which breath will be her last before pulling the trigger. Jack can take the fines. He can't take seeing Tara's joy wilt. But the turning point isn't about lawns or rumors. It's the day she gets a letter from the state nursing board accusing her of stealing meds and working under the influence. Anonymous complaint, of course. Jack doesn't need a signature to know whose fingerprints are all over it. His response is pure mission mode. Lawyer for Tara, Operation Nightingale for him, public records, tax rolls, voter data, all combed with the precision of a man who's run intel in war zones. He finds strange transactions from the HOA account to shadow payees' cash purchases that smell of laundered power. Then the black van shows up, a driver with a spider tattoo and 2 heavies inside. Freddie, the neighborhood conspiracy theorist with a poodle named General Patton, swears they're government spooks, but Jack knows hired muscle when he sees it. The night they finally come, it's 2 a.m., and the front door explodes inward. Jack's not groggy years in the Rangers hardwire you to wake at the first wrong sound. He sends Tara to the locked bedroom with 911 on the line, then uses an oak lamp like a club. First man loses the crowbar and is air in 2 hits. Second takes a palm strike under the nose and a headfirst tour of the drywall. Third tries to sneak in, but Jack sweeps his legs with the crowbar hook down. He goes out cold. By the time the sirens arrive, the 3 are duct-taped into tidy, hog-tied bundles on the living room floor. Jack steps onto the porch in his red work shirt, crowbar on his shoulder, and meets Karen's glare from across the lawn. She's rattled, but not broken, and that he knows makes her even more dangerous. The police call it a clean defensive action, but Jack knows better. This was Karen moving from psychological warfare to physical assault. He gives Detective Miller just enough to plant suspicion, mentions the HOA harassment, the van, the fines, but keeps the ace in his pocket, the quiet man living with Karen, who isn't her husband. It's Freddie of all people who hands him the missing puzzle piece, a yellowed local news article from North Carolina near Fort Bragg about a young soldier killed in Afghanistan. Private Kevin Grant, the grieving mother quoted at the bottom, Karen. And Jack remembers. Farah Province, bad intel, high-risk extraction. Kevin was in his squad, brave, reckless, and dead in seconds from a sniper's bullet. Jack had written the letter to her, called her son a hero, left out the part where he'd questioned the mission. Historians still argue whether leaving truths like that unspoken is kindness or cowardice. Suddenly, the campaign makes sense. She didn't just move here, she hunted him, built a false life, even planted a fake husband in her house to maintain control of her late husband's money. The HOA presidency, the thugs, the endless fines, they were all just tools in a long revenge. She wanted to dismantle him the way she believed he had dismantled her world. Jack decides the endgame won't be a fistfight or a courtroom, it'll be truth. He packs the upcoming HOA meeting with neighbors furious over a crushing special assessment. When the night comes, the community center is standing room only. He lets her make her pitch, then walks to the front and drops the police file of the 3 intruders on the table. Gasps. And then turning to the quiet man beside her, Jack calls him by his real name, Paul Brenner, exposing him as a disgraced actor. The room erupts. But Jack's not done. He says Kevin's name. Lays a faded photograph on the table, the goofy grin, the arm around Jack's shoulder. He tells her he kept it to remember that he's sorry, that he should have sent it with the letter. The mask cracks. The grief pours out. For the first time, Karen isn't a president or a predator. She's just a mother broken open in front of her neighbors. A week later, a moving truck carries her away. No victory dances, no gloating, just a nod between 2 people bound forever by one terrible day in the Afghan dust. The HOA reforms, the fines vanish, and life trickles back into the neighborhood. Even Freddie retires his spider syndicate theory and promotes General Patton to 5 stars. And in the slow evenings, Jack sits on the porch with Tara, knowing they'd kept their home and their humanity without becoming the monster they fought. The war ended not with a knockout, but with a truth too heavy to carry alone. The heat of those months fades like the last glow in a fire pit embers, cooling under the easy breath of a night wind. The lawn smells like cut grass again, not like adrenaline, not like splintered wood and fear. The deck boards are warm under bare feet, the same boards he laid with his own hands, back when the place was just a dream, and not yet a fortress. Tara's laughter, quiet, steady, drifts through the screen door as she hums over some small, ordinary chore, the sound a kind of proof that peace is back, even if it looks a little different now. Karen's shadow no longer sits behind glass across the street. The mail is just mail again, not a threat, folded into crisp stationery. And the night sounds crickets, a dog's bark somewhere far down the road are only what they are not, signals, not warnings. In that simplicity, Jack feels the ground steady under him in a way it hasn't for a long time. The photograph of Kevin still rests in his wallet. He hasn't decided whether he'll ever take it out for good. Maybe some memories aren't meant to be put away, not completely. They shape you, remind you of the edges you carry, keep you careful with the peace you're lucky enough to win. Out beyond the porch light, the sky turns the deep blue of a slow river, stars drifting into place. The world keeps moving as it always does, and for tonight it carries him gently. The war is over, the ghosts are quiet, and in the soft darkness with the woman he loves close by, he lets the quiet hold him until sleep comes easy.